Welcome back to your WEC23 regionals. We're back with another best of one here today to get these groups kick-started. I'm Squid, joined by Tiddler. We've been bringing you the action over the course of the last 2 days, and we've got a lot more action to come.
Yeah, we actually do one more best of one for today. We expected best of threes, but you know, it's better if it's a surprise. But both these teams are actually really good. Both these teams are always competing, and off the bat, I feel like this is going to be a close game. As per usual, here in Eastern Europe, we couldn't decide immediately who was going to win out the last game, the Bosnia versus Croatia game. It went 16-14. I'm probably expecting the same right now.
Yeah. These best of ones have been really close from start to finish. We will see a reappearance of Mirage once again. We've seen that map be kind of the default pick for most teams. Remember that these are more sort of scrimmy matches. We've got these international rosters, so Mirage being that middle ground handshake. We've seen it so many times, and this series won't disappoint either. We're going right back to it.
Yeah, going right back to it as well, seeing that it is a middle ground, I felt like I was expecting something more, you know, not Mirage, because of the fact both these teams compete in the same tournaments. Both these teams have, you know, set lineups that compete outside of, you know, the international scene. So, you know, looking at this matchup that we have so far, I don't really know what to expect. But Hungary, here's their lineup: Aaron, MSN, Coolio, Camion, and Petito. This is, of course, the domination roster competing in loads of events. I have to highlight this. They beat Ninjas in Pajamas not so long ago. This is a real roster that can do some damage here.
Yeah, and definitely probably one of the favorites in this group, right? Like, they've got the practice that many of the teams in this series really negate. They don't have. We've seen default standard Counter-Strike potentially. We won't see that from them in this specific best of one. Map like Mirage, maybe they wanted to change things up a little bit, but it still goes back to Mirage regardless. You'd think that they would fall back onto somewhat of a comfort pick. It does work the other way. If you are a stabilized standard roster, you can actually look into the demos. You can see exactly how to try and negate one of these teams, and that's one of the disadvantages, I guess, Hungary do have, but you're kind of picking at straws to say that specifically. I don't know how much preparation a lot of these teams will be doing coming into a tournament like this. Maybe it's just have fun, let's go, try and be one of the 9 teams that get to this LAN final later this year.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the map percentages for both these teams. They're actually pretty similar in it. Domination with 9 maps played on Mirage, 67% win rate, so winning 6 out of 9. And then looking at Ignis Serpents, which is, of course, the Polish side, 55% within 11 maps. So they're in around the same region as well. So this is really set to be, you know, a close enough matchup here.
Yeah, and in this division of CS, you're going to be playing against the same sort of tier caliber of teams day in, day out. Going to be familiar opponents in this one. That's kind of been the case throughout this tournament, right? You see these domestic matchups when these countries are kind of landlocked together. You really know what you're up against. This is the Polish roster. Do you want to take us through it?
Yeah, this is essentially, like I said, the Ignis Serpents roster that compete, you know, loads of tournaments. SNX, Olymp, KC, Moonwalk, and Zan. Nothing much more to say here. It really is a team that I see playing Nuke a lot. They always pick into Nuke, but of course, not going into this one, you know, not picking into Nuke or not getting into Nuke, of course, is a best of one. It's really hard to get. It's, you know, that single map that you've always been playing. But, you know, this team has lots of firepower, and we've seen like loads of people. There's been a lot of, you know, light onto this roster because of their performance recently in ESL Challenger League. They barely miss out on playoffs and losing out to the likes of like Apex and Monty and also some really good teams that have been competing in top tier events. You know, this roster can definitely do damage today, but when it's in a middle ground, I'm really just like, again, as per usual here with all these matches, you just never know how it's gonna go. It's like, even when we see 7-1 starts, it's not even set in stone just there.
Yeah, and that's part of the parcel of playing Counter-Strike day in and day out as the same roster, right? You're not gonna have the same tendency to capitulate, give up. You know that you've made comebacks before with that specific roster. You see it in lower levels of play, right? You get to an 8-1, a 9-1, and that's when a team starts to completely fall apart and they're totally out of the server already. It puts you at such a massive disadvantage. This Polish team only losing out to some of the hotter rosters on the scene, hottest formed rosters on the scene as well. Do you have any predictions going into this one, Tiddler?
No, not really. I don't really have a real set prediction, but if I were to lean towards a side, it would probably be someone like Domination, because Domination have been doing some good work on Mirage. They've lost to some good teams, but they've beaten some decent enough teams here in the tier 2 space. So at the same time, I could say the same thing about the Polish roster, but it feels like with them not going into this, I feel like they're not really confident on it. And I'm looking at the results right now. A lot of their wins and losses on Mirage have been really close. I've seen quite a few 16-14s and a lot of overtime victories. And Domination, it's either been a complete blowout, but it's been like against a really top tier opposition. But when they have won, it's been one-sided towards them. So they either lose really badly or they win really well, it seems. And I feel like if Domination just bring that sort of CS to the table, they'll probably take it.
Yeah, little tale of two cities there, where both teams kind of have different win conditions, and it's whether Poland can draw them out into a longer game and really drag this one on. Maybe they've got a bit more form in those longer matches. The overtime bouts, we've already seen an overtime and a 16-14 thus far in this tournament. And those longer games, especially in a best of one, is what we want to see, right? Like, as I said earlier, you kind of throw it all out onto the table.
Yeah, the longer games, though, I don't know what to say about either side. There's nothing much to say because a lot of these teams just like, it's a lot of 2-1s, I guess you can say, when it comes to these best of 3s. But when it's in a best of 1, they haven't really been playing best of 1s. I'll just be honest with you. So I just cannot judge anything here. It really is, you kind of have to look at it front on, and then we'll have to see in the server at the end of the day, because really these teams just cannot be judged apart from anything right now. But we said that last time around, and we just saw a bit of a roster change in the server. So maybe that will change our opinions just a little bit.
Yeah, and I love best of ones, especially in a tournament like this. It gives each game like a completely unique flavor, even if we are playing on Mirage time and time again. It's interesting. Everybody can kind of get everything out in just one map, and we don't see a really long, drawn-out battle where fatigue plays a factor. And a lot of these teams like can't always commit a full roster to that entire sort of day of play, especially when you're playing back-to-back best of threes. Add on to that, you have to play in other tournaments as well. You're taking pieces from a multitude of rosters as well. We really want to see stable rosters from start to finish. I think that we can go to the leaderboard and see how some of the previous games have actually shaped up. Obviously, we're in the Eastern European region now. We've been watching some of the Western Europe games over the last couple of days. That's got all the way into the playoffs. Here in the Eastern European region, do you have any sort of standout teams, highlight teams to sort of highlight throughout this group stage?
Oh, for me, it has to be Israel. They just have such a star-studded lineup there. A lot of these players competing in the RMR, stuff like that, and even in the IESF prior to the one last time around, so 2 IESFs ago. Of course, it was held over in Israel, and I believe they won it out. I'm not too sure on that, but they either won it out or they went really far in it. So they've just been a fantastic lineup. I know it's different this time around than when they did well last time, but the thing is, I would argue that this Israel squad is stronger than what it was 2 years ago. You have the same players, but then you have the upgrades, and the fact that this is also a decent team as well. I believe it's GG How, who they once represented, and Invictus. So Israel just is that standout squad for me. And that Group A, I feel it's really unfortunate that we have Estonia, who can do damage against Cloud9. You have Israel, they're just filled with firepower, and then you have Ukraine there as well, who's the entire IKLA roster, who got really close to getting to that RMR as well. So it really is so difficult to tell, especially when that Group A is just kind of that group of death.
Yeah, lots of star-studded rosters. We did talk about that Group A earlier, right? Like being the best group by far out of the 4 that we've got to offer in these regionals. Group B also looked like a pretty hefty group. That's actually the one that we're on today. That not just being a really high skilled group, but a close group where we can't really predict the outcome of any of those matchups. Obviously, we saw a really hotly contested matchup earlier. It was a pretty one-sided first half, and then ended up being a 16-14. Felt like that game was going to overtime from the very start. So the fact that they were able to close that out 16-14, actually pretty impressive.
It really is impressive, but I feel like when we're talking about the closest of Group B, I feel like it's not really closest of all 4 teams. I feel like you have 2 top teams and then 2 lower teams that are equally matched. I feel like Croatia, they already got that 1-0 start, and I'm just checking how many games they played. They played 3 matches here, so I'm wondering how that one pans out, because I feel like off the bat, I would look at Poland and Hungary going through in the group here, and then Bosnia and Croatia going down lower, especially with Croatia not there with their full roster, and the same can be said for Bosnia, while Hungary and Poland, they're always going to be together. That's just how it is here. And then when you look at Group C, for example, it's a lot of the smaller countries. So the seeding has been a little bit, weird here, to be quite honest with you. You have Albania, Moldova, Turkey, and Georgia down in Group C, and then Bulgaria, Montenegro, Serbia, and Azerbaijan in Group D. It seems like all of it has been front-loaded onto Group A and B, and we're not seeing too much in Group C and D. And I feel like we might just end up seeing 2 really good teams once again fighting in the playoffs that could easily be the one heading to that land final.
Yeah, and as we can see, loads of games still yet to be played. Israel and Ukraine, they've yet to play in Group A. Moldova and Turkey, they've not played a game just yet. And then that's Serbian roster taking on Montenegro. We've not seen that game either. We're heading into, obviously, some of our first games over in the Eastern European region. Any other matchups that you're really excited to see?
Yeah, I've only really been interested in the Group A and Group B matches. Like I said, I feel like it's been top heavy. Group A and B have just had all of it, and Group C and D as well. But Bulgaria and Serbia are also decent teams as well. We've seen Bulgarian talent previously, not even just in IESF, just representing in certain teams like Poison and Cirque. For example, just look at their roster right now. Bulgaria have Mar, Awaken, Blocker, Raftu, and Viltrex. All players are actually competing well. Awaken, for example, doing some good job, some good work in the ESL Premiership, getting some work done with Arctic Raptors. Of course, they're not getting to the playoffs, for example. Actually, they did get to the quarterfinals, but the rest of the squad have just been floating around the tier 2 space. So they definitely could do some work here. And of course, Serbia, that iNation roster, playing in the RMR not so long ago. So many of these teams playing in the RMR here in Eastern Europe. Great representation here today, but I feel like it's not a question whether or not they're going to be going to the playoffs here in the Eastern Europe qualifier. It's really a matter of if they can get that top seed, and Bulgaria off the bat have already taken a game against Azerbaijan, and then Montenegro versus Serbia are going to be played on later. So interesting matches over in Group D. Group C, I really don't see any of the action happening over there, though, to be fair.
Yeah, remember we've got 9 total spots to give away for this final this final LAN that's going to take place later this year, so lots of slots available, and each going to a couple of these different groups. Of course, we go into those playoffs after we're done with the best of ones in the group stages, so lots more Counter-Strike to be played. And then of course we've got that female division that takes place a little later in the month, just after this male division comes up and concludes. So loads of CS to be played. And of course, in the IESF, it's a tournament that is composed of multiple esports. We will be getting into Mirage in the next couple of moments. Our final best of one of the day, Tiddler. You excited for this one?
I actually am, because I'm really not sure what Hungary are going to bring to the table here up against Poland. These 2 teams, I feel like they've played the same tournament so many times, have competed in the same tournaments, but have managed to dodge each other. Like, I thought they'd played each other at least once in ESL Challenger League. If I look at the tournaments that they've been playing, Y Games Pro Series, they've played countless CCTs, yet they still haven't played each other. But when I look at the teams that they've played and lost to, it seems like Domination have played more of the upper tier opponents. They played big, they played Godsend, NIP, beating out NIP Domination. But I feel like that was just really game one out of many, because the rest wasn't looking too good in that ESL Challenger qualifier. But Poland, getting further in those tournaments though. So already right into the action here with a B push, and Moonwalk gonna catch a little bit of damage, immediately gooshed up here, and it's gonna be a fast player as they enter into the B bomb site.
He needs to fall back into more defensive lines, and already eliminated. There's 2 opening kills are found. Casey's next in line, able to battle one back. They need to get that C4 down right now, and trying to plan it out in the open. That's an unnecessary risk, as another one actually connects. Here, this USPS needs to find some damage, and they're going to peek him almost simultaneously. Coolio, he's negotiated his way towards the left side of this far pillar. I wonder if he's been spotted. He is. What a headshot. It's Poland with that initial pistol. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, good stuff out there from Poland, considering that Hungary just barreled their way in, and the first line of defense for Poland was in a very tricky spot. He's in the backside. There's like 3 players all looking at his position, but I feel like that was also the downfall for Hungary. They were so focused on one player at a time, and it allowed for some of the Polish CTs to be able to get each individual kill pretty easily, and they ended up closing out the round there. Good stuff out from them.
Yeah, 3 kills from SNX as well. Beautiful with the USPS. Absolutely pivotal to be able to take that round through. Gives Poland the 1-round advantage here on Mirage. Casey, going to be the first man to fish for some information against a pretty lackluster buy. Not deciding to go for much reinvestment into this second round. We often see a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle played in the early portions of each of these maps. Just the 2 Deagles will re-emerge. 1 minute 10 left to be played.
Wrapping around back to the B bomb site though. This time around, I feel like Poland will be better equipped for this push. It's gonna be that MP9 holding the line here, and he's gonna be able to get that first kill onto MSN, taking him down, and it seems like that's gonna deter the Hungarians for now. They'll get a kill through the smoke with the P250. That's a very nice find out from them. Camion is gonna try and come up here from the short side. We'll see what he can do, but he's looking very thoroughly. He doesn't really know much about the positions of Poland right now. He's just creeping his way on in, and Casey's gonna find one. Aaron has been taken down. Moonwalk is making a whole load of noise here towards the B side of things, and maybe if he does make a little bit of noise for the rotate, Badito might just move in, but that just only gives Zan an opportunity to peek on in, and he checks the short side as well and takes both of them down in the end there. So a pretty clean round out there from Poland.
Yeah, nicely done by Poland. No gambles taken. They go for the 2-2 split once they've lost that first member. And Hungary cannot find a gap in the defense. There isn't one. It'll be no bomb plant. Nevertheless, they'll pick up rifles in round number 3. No sniper for either side. It'll be 5 AK-47s here. 5 sets of smoke grenades, one of which thrown into the window room in the early portions of this third round. Map control, the name of the game. They're setting up a default, trying to pressure for any mistakes. They know that they have a bit of an economical advantage being on this T side. They'll be up against 2 SMGs. Casey will be holding one of those. A FAMAS as well for Zan.
Yeah, looking towards mid though this time, Hungary. Could be a run boost, I assume, on the way here. It's going to be Zan on the opposite end of this, but he's completely smoked off. So probably looking to put himself in a position to support Moonwalk possibly, but he's going to be able to stand his own ground as he perforates the skull of Aaron to get things underway here. 4 versus 5. Now looking towards connector here, but Zan now, as that smoke has dissipated, I don't think Hungary just realized or was it relayed. So he's able to get one before he does get taken down here. But Poland, they have full control of both bomb sites, and they're looking to rotate to whatever side it is, especially when they've cleared out that B apartment side, as in the underside. It's going to be able to find a kill. Coolio now chasing in pursuit of him.
Yeah, that's a really key frag, because Coolio doesn't know where he slipped away to. Can be towards the T-spawn, but we can see via that mini-map that it's straight into the apartments. That's a nice shot, confirmed damage, and rolls out the red carpet for them to push double-pronged into the B-bomb site. Moonwalk's going to be so important here, spamming some bullets through. That's such heavy damage. That bomb goes down regardless. And Badito, needs so much more than that. Moonwalk, 3 kills. The key player here for Poland in that third round. Starting off by short and just going totally unnoticed inside the B-bomb site.
Yeah, it's just Poland seems to be dominating Hungary. You know, they've had that control. They have that information early on. You see how there's a player already in B apartments flanking down underneath, so that when it comes to that bomb plant, Poland already know the general whereabouts of where these Hungarian players are at because there's only so many angles that they can clear because they've already gotten all that information. So that makes that retake so much easier here and sets Poland up for success. It's going to be a half buy now this time around from Hungary. They definitely still can do some damage here because they do have rifles and do have a Tech 9 and a Mac 10 and stuff like that on board. So, but the way Poland have been playing seems to be a quick cleanup here. Never mind.
Oh, no.
First eagle shot is beautiful, and well, right when I say that, it seems like Hungary have just switched on. They're gonna push CT as well, but that's a beautiful flash to spray transfer from Moonwalk. Good composure to get those two to find the right back, and they flip the script completely as they find the advantage.
They have to make this retake happen with 2 sniper rifles as well. This one being locked out by the smoke grenades, and that Tech 9 wants to creep closer in combination with the AK-47. Quick kills, and they know exactly where Moonwalk is playing from. Spam damage right through that triple box, but the AWP is able to clean him up. That monster investment hits the deck for Poland.
That was 2 op shots though missed there for Poland. That was their entryway back in. They were actually handed that as well. They weren't that bad of an op shot. I expected at least one to hit. Flick did not connect, and ultimately it's not going to work out for them. Put himself in a very difficult situation. 1-on-2 behind the firebox. Did get a whole load of damage, but nothing more than that. We're going to see round number 5 here with a lean towards the mid side, possibly as a flash looks to come over, an aggressive play. And the 2 mid players here for Hungary, they're not going to peek upon this. They're just going to nade it and try and make sure that they're going to be able to soften them up, make sure those battles will be as easy as possible. We'll take the first battle, and Cameo is going to win it out.
AC not able to stand up, but there is more presence inside this connector. They're not going to stop moving whatsoever. Aaron's already found his way right inside the jungle room. Moonwalk needs more than just the one. Burnt down to 11 points of health, and SNX, not sure how he's able to find that shot. Flicks so fast over. There's still a minute to play with, but they're not slowing down. Already outside of the ramp. Already pressure on this A site.
Pressure as well, and there's only one player holding. That's SNX. He's been blinded completely, and that's an easy frag to fight for Badito. It's going to be forcing on in here. He's going to take down another in our window room. Moonwalk on low HP, and I don't think he can really contend for this. I don't know if the save is viable. Well, it is viable, of course. He can bring that over to the next round, but I'm just saying that its efficacy is not going to be that great going into that eco.
No, it's going to be the only rifle they have to use going into the next. Well played from that terrorist side. They decided to hunker down inside the ramp, realizing that there was a lot of mid presence, not wanting any part of that action, and finding the kills elsewhere. Struggling here. Moonwalk's on 7 kills, leading the charge here for this CT side. Nobody really matching him. Emerson yet to frag at the bottom of the scoreboard with that AWP. Picked it up for the first time. He was able to salvage that off the back of that 4th round, carrying it in now to round 6. They've had it in their hands for some time. It's not going to be a buy for the CT side. They can potentially force, but that would be inadvisable. I'll have just pistols, I presume. If that,
Yeah.
the loss bonus is so low. Only $1,900 per player. That means that you don't have any bonus cash to splurge here in round 6. The key player, though, Moonwalk. Where's he going with this M4A1S? Towards the B bomb site, it seems. Expect him to get more aggressive either into the apartments or onto short. Try and take the fight to them. And an opening kill, potentially. So I don't see them making any big mistakes. Pushing right into this rifle. Part of the game for this T side is to try and hunt it out, and they have already found that single armored player. Follows it up with a nade. M4 retrieved, but it's so much less potent when you don't combine it with the armor.
Yeah, and it's going to be a struggle out here for Poland as well. They're looking to pounce on this, and of course, one of the players on the B bomb side is a rifler. They're actually starting to make a move here because they've already created a flank So that information is there that they're not towards A side of things. But you kind of have to be wary, and that's going to be on to Zan to make sure they don't head towards A from the connector side. So SNX is not going to flank through apartments. He's going to decide to flank through the mid side. But the thing is, it's really difficult to hit those shots when it's just the back of their head showing. They've actually slipped right through, so he won't be able to see them, but he will be able to flank on here. Slowly creeping on in. He might be good for 2. Depends whether or not they check behind. He's looking towards connector. Oh, he spotted out 1. Could he spot out another? 6S able to find 1. He's finally activated on here. Poland are starting to make things work here as they've taken the advantage here in this round. So many players here on the actual bomb side itself. SNX taken down. And look at Casey. He's found it from the boost side. Coolio again. It's now a 1-on-2. And Sam just playing the back of this bench side. Seems like they don't know where he is at all. And he misses that up shot. Does a whole load of damage. The low bullets makes it so difficult. He finds the first headshot. But Camion finally gets it with the Glock. He knew how low he was. He makes it work at the end. But that was damn close, Squid.
He's going to be devastated when he watches that round back, realizing that he took Kimmy down to 9 points of health right through that smoke, knowing that exactly where the AWP was playing from, and even able to finish off more damage before he goes down. That's such a painful round to lose. They only took 1 M4A1S into it. They take so much more out. 5 rifles set up here for Poland. No AWP on the defensive side. MSN will have one of his own, but he's not been impactful in these first 6 rounds. Needs to be even more. There's a 4-man setup defending this A-bomb site. Looks to be where the main crunch is going to come through. There's no map presence elsewhere, so falling back doesn't seem to be an option. We know how much Poland has been throwing in flanks. This time they can hold up strong with a 4-man defense.
That's a good hold though from Casey to get the first, but immediately traded out, so he's only ever going to be good for 1 in that position. MSN though trying to recover. Coolio, another quick shot to SNX, but 6X holding his ground here. This triple box, and well, he's going to get taken out surely. Coolio is just mowing them all down here. He has 4 kills in the round. He's taken everyone here in the same bomb site. Now left onto Moonwalk, who's going to peek on through. Going to be good for the first on the MSN. But look at this, the high-low setup is so difficult, but yet he's able to isolate that first player. Don't know if he spots out the second, but he knows his general whereabouts. But Dito peeks out. And I would have been very, very disappointed, or Coolio would have been very, very disappointed if Hungary didn't win out that round pick, because he got 4 kills there, single-handedly keeping Hungary in that A-side defense, or A-side take.
Yeah, and I'm sure that we're about to see some of them again, just staying inside the apartments as well. He's got such an advanced vantage point, such a good angle. Moonwalk, nevertheless, almost able to finish off the job in this round. He just loses track of Benito at the wrong second, and it's a quick little spray down to finish that one off. Julio's going to be taking a really deep sigh of relief there. Mid control. This is going to be a B split. I can confirm that. The bomb towards this side of the map, and they are up against a really rocky defense once more. A pistol, and that SMG is going to creep closer behind the safety of that smoke. 2 players for the CTs inside the apartments. They're actually backing off, ceding so much ground. They've got no idea that this defense is so far pressed in. Kimmy must know something. He actually mollies in correct time. Really couldn't be much better. Even finds a kill.
Molotov was a bit poor, doesn't quite fully clear everything out. Might have just spread to those critical angles, but Aaron there opening up here onto the B site. Taking that player back bench. The Eagles only for Poland. Maybe this will work out, but that flash is perfect. Seems like that utility usage starting to pay off out here for Hungary, because it seems like every time they throw a flash and do decide to peek off of it, it seems to pay off here. And siphoning them off 1 by 1 here. No problem for Hungary here as they find a 5th here, cancelling out Poland's start.
Yeah, it's this 4-man attack that's really paying dividends. MSN hasn't really been needed on the scoreboard in the first 8 rounds. He's only found 1 kill. When he steps up, it's going to be a full team affair. Poland, they'll respond back, though, with another buy. Zan holding the AWP this time. He's brought down to the bottom dollar and gets flashed off the angle towards the middle of the map. MSN has it held right over this smoke. He's got such a vantage point into the connector. And he's actually going to spot this AWP. Zan's about to peek it, presumably. See him creeping forward, but both AWPers missed their shots, and Zan's able to respond back into the palace at the right time to close the third kill on this defense. Make that even more as MSN now finally needs his highlight reel. This would be a way to get into the game. A 1 versus 5.
They're already coming up on this position, though. Right, starting to clear things out. If he doesn't get taken down by Casey, there's going to be a waiting player looking to flank around already from the Palace side. But might be able to get a quick shot here. Bomb isn't too far away. It's in Palace. He'll jump up, though. Gives away his position already. And, yeah. Casey's able to make quick work of that. So Poland back to the races here. I wonder what, you know, they're going to bring to the table for this next round, because I feel like Hungary, when they did walk into that mid side, but like gave away too much to Poland, and they were just able to make quick work of that in the end. So MSN already, you know, they was up against 4, too tall of a task for him. So entering round number 10, we'll see what they're gonna be able to do here, and it seems to be a bit of an A play here. The bomb seems to head towards there, aside from Coolio, who looks to probably wrap around late towards the mid side, as Casey's able to get that first kill into MSN, and Benito taking SNX down from the back triple side. Casey's continuing to peek on forward, but not gonna find anything just yet.
Yeah, Benito's got such an advanced position inside of the sandwich, even strikes for that opening frag. And Coolio even able to close out another one. It feels like there are terrorist members everywhere on the map right now. Benito doesn't even need to pull the pressure. He can just fall back into the Tetris and find even more success. They can now roll in this bomb. It's not even needed. Benito's just going to finish off everybody. A triple kill on the A bomb site. He's just not slowing down in the slightest. And as soon as it feels like Poland's got a foothold in this map, they get slapped right back. They had no idea that he was so advanced onto this bomb site, and even falls away. I just love that passive approach. Re-aggresses for even more damage. Poland shut back. This will be their last buy in a little while. They've got 4 M4s, even the MP9 coming out in round number 11.
Bomb dropped right outside apartment. Seems to be a B play again, presumably a split. But there's going to be a player in the underpass as well to put a little bit of pressure there, maybe block the rotates. But it seems like that bomb is going to be picked up here, heading towards that mid side. Don't know where they're going to play, whether or not they go into the catwalk or not. Aaron's going to lead the charge. Seem to be going towards the connector section. Will reconvene with that player who came up from that underpass side. That nade, though, does loads of damage. That double nade as well. He's down to 3 points of health. Surely he's going to be out of contention in no time here. But he's in such a difficult position. That Molotov, man, that is so frustrating. 2 nades and then a Molotov to take you down. Well, it's going to be an A execute, surely, at this point, as they throw a bit of utility right over. There's one player in that catwalk side to maybe catch off someone else in towards that A side, but it's Casey to hold it down for 2. Bit of a battle here as SNX grabs another. Only 1 found so far from Hungary, aside from that window player. Benito finding 1, and that Molotov blocking off completely. A 2 versus 2 situation here. Make that 2 versus 1 as SNX able to find that important fragment to Benito and in towards the mid side. It's going to be a trade on 4. Now 1-on-1. And Moonwalk could possibly catch off this rotate here into the A side. Very close, but Moonwalk holds it down. That was hectic. Very hectic. And I thought Hungary had a good chance there, considering the first opening start here. Zan was just stuck in window, getting nades thrown right at him.
There was definitely some miscommunication there, because they knew where Moonwalk was in the 1 versus 1, but just looking the wrong way, Aaron didn't really seem to realize that he could push through jungle, had his back turned. Disadvantageous gunfight to lose their 5th round here. Still a good T-side nonetheless. They're going to send it back to the A-bomb site. This end of the map has been the target in many of these rounds. They've been flooding it with nades, and SNX just hasn't had much of a chance whatsoever, taking a more advanced position this time into dark. Here come the flashbangs, though. He's going to be totally blind before the push comes through. Coolio and Benito, that sort of double pairing. They've been so savage. All half. They've been so quickly out. It's MSN first.
I'm liking how Hungary has set up this A take. They're letting each player get into action at the same time, but the thing is their spacing is not great at all. Oh my goodness, the knife even being whipped out by SNX. That's unbelievable. Looking for more, even at 4 kills in that round. 3 kills and a knife frag. I can't believe that. Hungary looks so good for it. It's just that the spacing was terrible. Even though Poland dropped a Molotov to maybe separate them, but after that, their spacing was still not great. The trades weren't there. Information wasn't there either. SNX just still getting a free knife kill because Hungary didn't even know he was there, even after getting 2 frags. It went completely wrong for Hungary, even though it looks so good.
Yeah, and this is shaping up to be a close half. 6-6. No AWPs here in round number 13. The pistols, oh my gosh, they're just as deadly. Aaron, that is such a nasty shot. Even follows it up onto Casey. And remember, the root of this attention is going towards the B bomb site. There's just the one AK-47 holding here. Moonwalk needs this second kill. Is he going to find it against the P250? This is such an awkward fight. He still has a Desert Eagle to contend with. Julio up inside the apartments. He's going to get his head ripped off. Moonwalk basically doing everything on the defense there.
They're trying his best there, but good damage out there from Hungary. Aaron started that off. The P250 getting into a battle. Very awkward out for Poland. I think Hungary did a good job to make that awkward. That was really their job at the end of the day. But I think the goal there, of course, was to get a bomb plant of some sorts in. Quite get it, but here we are, round number 14. Back to the weapons here. No AWP and utility. Not in the greatest shape. Used almost all of it. Or actually, they used all of it on Camion. Still a little bit left on some of these players, but they will have to conserve it pretty well here if they want to execute on one of the sites. Casey and Sixax, so they get 2 kills, and MSN, oh, it's a huge decimation here in the mid side. No matter what Hungary threw there, it wasn't going to work out. Those battles were going in Poland's favor any day of the week.
Yeah, there were flashes basically pouring in from short over the connector. That rendered everybody blind in the middle of the map before those peaks came through. And they had no counter flashes, no counter utility to really deal with it, any of those pushes at all. Leave Bedito all on his lonesome. We've seen him do so many heroics this map, but he's going to need something absolutely spectacular here if he's going to win this 1 versus 4. Spots out some shoulders, but Moonwalk's going to beat him to the punch. It's Poland with another one. They take a slim lead here before halftime. It's either going to be 9-6 or 8-7. I know what they're going to prefer. You just see everybody with their hands in front of their faces. Look at even more flashbangs just piling on through. They're at 8 Gs in the middle of the map as well to join it. And Moonwalk able to finish off the job. 8-6. They'll have the much better buy here in the 15th and final round. Zan back with the AWP. It'll be the only one featuring on Mirage. Just 2 rifles, and they're of the Galil variety here on the T side. I'm going to try and, well, take down this AWP in the underpass. They're unable to do so. They're going to use a policy of speed onto this A-bomb site. They're not going to slow down Casey. He sprays down 2, and this half is over. Even spamming him through the smokes at the end. Oh no, Poland. That's a 9-6 finish, and they've got to be fairly confident with that one.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that they did on their CT side was pretty great here because, you know, they've been able to kind of ease the load a little bit. I know a 9-6 isn't that one-sided, obviously, you know, pistol round the conversions easily would make it 9-9, but just that having that distance there, moving on to your T side is a lot more comfortable than just being right at nearly a tight scoreline here at 8-7. I feel like that is really, you know, that could really go weird. When you have that advantage, you have a little bit of room to make, you know, a few more mistakes at the start here, especially when you're easing into it, especially on your T side.
Well, let's see the composition of this pistol round. No defuse kit here for the CTs. Instead, Poland's taking a variety of map control here. It's shaping up to be a split upon the A-bomb site, but this could be information given away inside the apartments. Quick headshot there onto Aaron, and, well, no presence into Biaps for this T side, and no rotates just yet. I wonder if they feel like they're going to caution away this T side. It's a little bit of a fake bait and switch setup. Moonwalk getting cautioned off of that one, and they see a very advanced defense towards that side of the map. So Benito needs to get out of cover, instead gets his head blown clean off. MSN needs to find just a shot here. There's no way he can allow this C4 to go down. Instead, falling back into a more passive line.
We're taking this battle here, Camion. Heglish angle, but Zan does decide to move away, but SNX, it's only just a bit of a distraction his teammate was doing. Able to find the first, spotting out the second, siphoning him off completely, and now bomb can go down safe and sound. 40-second timer starts to tick away here. A 1-on-2 situation. They still want to hold the CT side here, but I feel like they might just have to do it together because SNX is getting a little bit, antsy. He's looking at two positions at the same time, but there's that information found. Coolio picking Zan's head immediately. Now looking for the 1-on-2 and a low HP on SNX. Gonna make that job so much easier. I feel like SNX, he didn't really need to be watching two positions at the same time. It feels like it was either that both the players had to watch CT or they just played together and played one position at a time instead of being so separated. And SNX having to watch two angles. I feel like it was a complete misplay out there from Poland.
Yeah, and Coolio capitalizes on it perfectly. Comes in from the CT spawn, able to isolate both of those players in the 1 versus 2. That's basically your goal when you're trying to break apart a defensive setup like this in the retake. He didn't have a defuse kit either, so a long defuse. Knew he needed to get into that one incredibly quickly, able to do so. It's 9-7 and such a key pistol round to win. That puts them on a better buy here. I feel like we're going to get a technical pause. I can hear the chat ticking away.
Seems so. No damage dealt, so probably gonna see a round reset. Yeah. Seems like we will have a technical pause
as well. This is something that we don't often see.
I've never
the
seen
admin
that.
happened to get involved. The admin needs to click the actual the dot pause command in the console, and everybody comes to a halt. But yeah, no, that pistol rounding really interesting. I think that's going to make this best of one a lot closer than it ordinarily would have been. We've seen very T-sided Mirage bouts throughout this entire tournament, and I don't necessarily see this map being much different.
Yeah, and I feel like that was a T-sided pistol and it was just thrown away out from Poland. Like I said, SNX was really looking for that kill, looking at connector and CT, and already it was Coolio who just took a lot of damage off him, made the job so much easier for him. So I feel like it's just stayed the same, really. T-sided pistol rounds all the way. CT sides. I feel like it's either just been because in the pistol rounds, a lot of teams do decide to do gamble stacks or something different. But here we are, back into the game, into the middle side. 30 seconds remaining. It's like we missed a little bit of the action, but Coolio's gotten 2 quick frags here into the B bomb site. Moonwalk to return the favor again, but his player in towards Barket will have to do a bit of damage here or else it might not go his way. Actually, no, it's 3-on-1 situation now as Aaron now looks to come up in the catwalk.
It's dangerous round to lose as well. Aaron looking for a quick frag, otherwise this one's going to fall apart so quickly. The lack of the defuse kit as well. And he's already been spotted out. That headshot, yes, it's swift, but I just don't know if he's got enough time for this one. And he's going to have to scurry to find a defuse kit on the floor if this is going to be possible, even in the slightest. He's been locked out of this one.
Yeah, we didn't really get to see how this round had shaped up to the situation that's come up right now. But judging by it, seemed to be Poland just getting that information and just taking the short side because they were so confident running on in here. I want to see a tactical pause being used out by Hungary. We'll see how this one shaped up. Yeah, Coolio getting 2 quick frags on the bomb side itself. Moonwalk getting that trade, and then the rest of the round, Aaron couldn't do anything. Didn't have that kit like you said. And you just can't be competing for rounds like that, especially when, it's really looking like it's impossible. But wonder what Hungary are going to be talking about right now here in the tactical pause, because we're still early doors here into the second half. I don't know, maybe it could be something that needs to be addressed here. We're going to see a technical pause here because I believe timeout's not 15 minutes long.
Yeah, and this is basically the nightmare scenario to start CT sides. They are essentially in double eco territory if they don't decide to go for the full force here. We've seen so many teams, especially on the CT side, not just in this tournament, but in basically any CSGO tournament that you'd watch, go for the Deagle and armor in this scenario, knowing that they cannot afford a buy into the next. They'd have an extra $1,900, so the richest players would have about $3,900 actually investment in the next round. So that's just not enough to go for a full buy in the next. Kind of forces you into buying Deagles in this one.
Yeah, it does force you into buying deals possibly, and of course, in the state of the economy right now, we see a lot where we see force buys so that they can facilitate for the eco because of course, you just end up double ecoing anyway, so you might as well just take the force before you take the eco, stuff like that. But especially on the CT side, if you're not able to get that economy going, because it's of course more cutthroat on that CT side in terms of economy than the T side, I think you got to be scared here if you're hungry, because if you can't get going on that CT side in terms of economy, you won't be able to compete in the rounds, and if you can't, you just won't be able to win out the game.
Yeah, and to sort of add another crease into it, they've been plagued by technical issues in the early portions of this second half. So that's going to get inside your head as well. That's going to stop you playing your own game when you're thinking about other things. And especially here in a best of one, you can't really afford for anything to go wrong at this point. You're down on rounds, you've just won the pistol and then lost the follow up. That's basically the nightmarish scenario that you can find yourself in CS. And now they've got to find a momentum break.
Yeah, and with CS being a momentum heavy game, sometimes I think this tactical pause could sort of be a good thing for Hungary, because Poland might have just ended up being a little bit on the run. But Hungary, though, I don't know what to judge them so far, because we've only seen so little. We had, that pistol, we had that technical pause, which led into another round, which we didn't really get to see how that shaped up. But yeah, I'm not really want to say what's going to happen here, because I'll just be honest here. Hungary, they haven't gotten their economy online. I feel like the best judge for me is, rifle rounds one. Rifle rounds one is important. I don't care about the first rounds, because so many times we've seen, teams throughout this entire event, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, no matter what the region, they win the first 3 rounds and then they just don't show up for the rest. So I can't really judge them so far.
Yeah, and the consistency of those rifle rounds as well. How many they're able to chain together in a row, if they're able to build up any momentum, especially on these CT sides. You need that for the economic benefits that come with it. These T sides have been just so powerful all tournament on a variety of maps, but especially Mirage. How many times have we seen 9, 10, 11 rounds won actually on the T sides of these maps? It feels like it has been a pretty terrorist-sided tournament all in all.
Yeah, it has been, because when you play basic Counter-Strike, you're not bringing something special to the table. The CTs will catch on. That's why we're seeing, a lot of games where, it's going to be one side getting 4 rounds in a row, then the other team's going to get 4 rounds in a row. That's why we've been seeing loads of chains of rounds being put together, yet the scoreline at the end of the half will be like 8-7 or 9-6, not even that, distant between both sides. That's just how it is here in this tournament. It's not usually like that in a lot of other events, but mainly because of the fact that no one really knows how each other plays, and especially in the best of one, this is the opening round for these teams, or this round two actually, possibly, or round three even. But in the best of ones, you play each other once, and that's about it. You're not going to see each other again. Probably not in the playoffs. I don't think you can even end up on the same sort of side unless you get to the finals possibly, and that's going to be a best of one as well. So I don't even know how this one's going to shape up.
And we're hearing from our admin team that we're waiting on a rollback. So I don't know if that previous round that we just watched is void, if they're not playing it. I don't know. Maybe the server pause just didn't come into effect at the right time. Maybe they didn't roll it back before. It felt like we got into that round really quickly. Like we were on camera, and then the next thing that we saw, there were 40 seconds left. So there's actually a chance that that round is going to be replayed, which is just such a massive change of momentum. We saw just a crazy break of pace. And if you go from actually breaking the economy of your opponents to having to do it again, that's actually just such a massive setback. You just can't understate it. Actually at this point. So we've got to see what the dynamics of that are and what sort of state we come back into this game with. But I guess it's all a little bit up at the air right now.
Yeah, and I feel like that benefits Hungary more than actually Poland. I know that Hungary do have their technical issues, and that's the reason why we're having this. But You know, you look at the CT side, it's all about whether or not the CT side is able to adapt to the T side and take them down rather than the T side adapting to the CT side. So I feel like when you roll back the round, it looks like it's going to favor the CT side more. But we're going to get back into the action. Badito Flash is able to get that first kill. And now in the under section, FP9 is getting activated. Galil, good for one, but that's all he's going to find. And right on the edge of the smoke, there's going to be some kills. But Aaron from the CT side so strong here. And Hungary, they're right into it. And it seems like they're going to be good to take the round here. There's 3 players right here in CT. Spray transfer not going to be good enough here. And Aaron shuts it all down in the end here on the A-bomb site.
Yeah, I mean, kind of scratch exactly what we just said. It was Poland previously on 10 rounds, actually looking to kind of close out the CT economy. That is not the case anymore. 3 rifles carried through in this one. They were able to build up a little bit of money. There were even more rifles on the floor. I think Julio's got one to actually retrieve off the ground, but no snipers here in round number 18. They'll be up against the Desert Eagles being the sort of primary weapons carried into this one. MSN, there's so much mid presence here. They're going to find 3 kills almost instantaneously on the round, and that underground presence thwarted. It's gone. He has to back off with the Tech 9, and SNX in the meantime has stuck his way all the way into CT spawn, Tiddler.
This could be good here, and you can see they're ready for this because 6X is starting to post up and head towards the B apartment side. And of course, he doesn't know about this at all, but it's all about whether or not SNX can hit his shot, because these shots are the most difficult to hit, because this kind of relies... Okay, this is going to be an easy shot for him because he's not going to know it all. He's not going to flick back. So well played out for him to get that frag. Now interesting situation. It's a 2-on-2. A rifle is now on board here. Both players on full HP, and that bomb is down. They're actually already in decent enough positions here. And SNX in a good position to possibly get 2 here.
Yeah, they are so out-positioned as well. SNX right behind them. Finds a quick kill. Now it's down to this Tech 9 hidden right behind the bench. And he's totally out of ideas. MSN tosses in an incendiary in the meantime and actually connects with the headshot. That's unbelievable. Has the defuse kit to get this one safely in. 9-9.
That was so close, but the Tech 9 almost made it work. The headshot only separated both sides there, but Hungary, I think that was theirs to take. It was really just a bit of a flank there, but now Poland can see that Hungary have a few gaps in their CT side, and maybe if they continue to start to exploit that when the guns are out, like in this round, and they're able to do that, that could be a round already, a few rounds already going their way if Hungary don't patch that up.
And this is just such a big break of pace from what we were talking about before. Poland had basically broken the economy. That's just not the case anymore, albeit Hungary barely have any money to talk of. If they were to lose this round, they're right back into eco territory. This game can turn on a dime so quickly. And Badito might be about to find that out the hard way. As that smoke dissipates, he's going to be forced, due to the one-mana disadvantage, to take this peek towards the middle of the map, where Zan is waiting with the only AWP in play here on Mirage currently.
Rotates back to the side, it seems, for Hungary. They're putting all their forces here. Not a single player here on the B-bomb site. Closest one there is going to be Badito, and he's going to be in the window section, I believe. This might be the right call here, as Aaron's already pushed up here, taking out Casey. But will he call this clear? Because he hasn't seen anyone else in this palace position. But surely now, as he sees the smoke drop in, maybe they realize that there's a bit of a presence here. There's 2 players towards here. The moonwalks in, connector. But they're heading back towards the B site here, so Hungary shouldn't have any players here by the time they get to this bomb site. Aside from Badito, possibly, who gets in towards market.
And Moonwalk, just a nuisance yet again. Benito's been taken down in the meantime, but Benito can actually just hold this flank. There's no way anybody can get through whatsoever, and I just don't see any more rifles being lost this round. They're going to hold on this A-bomb site, try and keep these 3 M4s alive. We talked about how catastrophic the money is at the start of this one. Aaron's the only player in 4 figures. He's got $1,250. That's just not enough for a buy if he's going to lose this rifle here. And the hunt is already on, flashing through the murder hole down, and well, they're going to try and chase this one into the palace.
I don't know what's gonna happen here. Do they even check Palace? Seems like 6X is checking everywhere, and if they're not here, probably gonna be in Palace, yeah. And oh, that's a barrel possibly spotted. I don't think he's seen it. He didn't see it. He's just been so fast. He was jumping across, so probably didn't see those few pixels of the gun barrel that was sticking out. But Poland taking back the lead here. Hungary getting off to a 3-0 start here. It could have been a little bit different considering that we had the rollback, but I feel like we're even here, and Hungary, I think, have been lucky to be able to not, be... I think, their economy, we talked about their economy being so weak. I feel like it could have been a way different scoreline than this if that rollback didn't happen.
Yeah, they've been playing a balancing act from the very first round of this half. Yeah. They've never been able to save even a single dollar in reserve. They've just been stuck on 0, nevertheless winning rounds somehow. This time, still a 5 versus 5. And pressure still towards this B-bomb site. There's an AK-47 pressuring in as Moonwalk takes the attention towards short. And there are defenders everywhere. Everybody striked at once in unison. Yeah, they've given away the B-bomb site, but only momentarily. Zan is the only player left alive and unable to connect with more than a leg shot. Knocks Coolio down to 8 points of health. But he's got so much more work to do in this clutch. I don't see how he's even going to be able to get a bomb plant out of this.
I think he might be able to get a bomb plant if he just dedicates it. But I think he wants to get a kill first because of information. He needs to get that. I know he's turned away from the window side, so Aaron has gotten back into the site. I don't think he realizes, but Coolio is the one to shut it down in the end from the short side. So Hungary back up and running. Not letting that speed bump that Poland had brought to the table here affect them at all. Break it even at 10 apiece. And they've just been trading tit for tat for the past, countless rounds here.
Yeah, nobody able to establish too big an advantage whatsoever. And I've got to say, this favors the T side, right? They're trading rounds evenly. It's so much more costly to go for these consecutive buys if you're on the CT half. MSN, he's had a really shaky game here on Mirage. Only 8 kills to his name, 16 deaths. This AWP is such a heavy investment as well. He just needs more impact than this, especially in a game where money is just riding so low. You're putting so much money into an AWP that's just hitting the deck all the time. Zan, on the other hand, he's had a little more impact, and I'm sure he's about to find this kill yet again. Aaron, he's gone.
But indeed, and while this is all happening, Poland have gotten ready to head towards A side of things, but the Molotov stopping them in their tracks. Buys a little bit more time for the rotate to come through here with MSN. Battle out here for Moonwalk in connector. Nade to be dropped into his position. MSN taking the first kill here. Camion with another 6x with one right back for Badillo. Getting another frag right there and peeking to the left side. Poland have been decimated and shut down here. All down to 6x in a 1-on-3. Elevated positions on both players here. Can technically set up a crossfire of some sorts because that bomb is dropped as well and doesn't know where the third one is. So way too difficult for my liking here. I don't see 6x getting this clutch at all.
Oh. Seems to have a read of where MSN was playing from. He certainly knows now as he peppers bullets in every single direction. He's just turning around back and forth, and he's about to get flanked as well. This can't really get much worse. He's running low on time, and MSN posts the angle for another round for Hungary. I just don't know how they've been surviving in these scenarios. This time they to keep 3 players alive alongside that AWP. That's so important to have a convincing round. Poland have been breathing down their necks since the very start of this half. Even favored by... Even God has helped them out with the technical timeouts. They find themselves with a 1-round advantage. Could make it 2 against pistols here in round number 22, though. These pistol armor rounds can just prove so dangerous. Especially when you're potentially giving away an AK-47 free. Instead, Badito, he's going to spray away too.
Seems to be that way so far for Hungary. Seems to be another round for them. Do have 1 casualty though. but not a rifle picked up here for Poland, and it seems to be Coolio. Should be a shot cleaned up, and that's a fantastic headshot to find with the Tech 9 on Takamion, but at least he's traded out immediately, so that's not too much of a factor into this round. And SNX spotted out information there in the long-range battle. No way in hell the Tech 9 was going to win that out. Aaron with another important frag there to close it out, and Hungary now 12-10. I find it really funny. I just can't get that rollback out of my head, the round replay, because I'm just thinking right now, Poland could have easily been on top here, but if Hungary did bring this game, though, I feel like it could have also been close, but I'm just stuck in between two minds of it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. This has been such a scrappy half. It's pretty unbelievable that they find themselves with a 2-round lead. That nade is just crunching, though. Zan's able to find 2 headshots in the meantime, and that's mid essentially lost for the price of 1.
Yeah, this defense of Hungary is very, very spread out right now, and it seems like wherever Poland do decide to go here, they're only up against 1 player. Hungary might just decide to lean to a bomb site and then just give up the other one so that they can save, and especially that might just be locked in here as Zan's able to get that fantastic headshot onto Camion. And now they're in towards the B side. We shouldn't see much out here for Hungary as they're probably going to set up for a safe here on the A side.
Well, this is way back in for Poland. A convincing round as well, builds the money into the next. They basically can't afford to hunt in the slightest as well. I know that it's advantageous every single rifle that you take away, but if Zan falls here, it just makes it so hard to buy into the latter portion of this half. He's potentially just going to throw away this AK-47 for nothing, and wow, this is such a risk. Here it comes, and he's got 2 players to try and take care of. He's got his knife out when the peak comes through, and they're going to go for a full... They're going to throw every single rifle at this one. They actually do find a kill off the back of it. Aaron finally able to keep the AK-47 alive. And Poland, I actually do think that was worthwhile. Trading 2 for 1 there, knowing that the CT economy is going to be fairly crippled, means that the buy is not ideal here. And they're actually going to take a tactical timeout to discuss.
Yeah, it was fine for them. I think they knew exactly what they were going into and what the consequences were if they didn't do too well in that hunt. But, you know, keeping that CT economy weak is just so important. Look at the money on Hungary. They've had to probably call this time out just because of that. You know, Poland, especially on that T side, you build up cash, you accumulate cash way faster on that T side because of the fact that you get that bomb down. There's so many more things, and the AK is just being so cheap compared to the CT weapons. Really sets you up for success here, and taking those rifles out of the CT's hands, that's just so important. But at least they're able to bring one into the table here, and Poland returning the favor. They're going to call a timeout afterwards as well.
Yeah, there's a lot to discuss here. The scoreline is so close. We talked about this. Seems to favor this Polish side. They have had so many long, really grimy games of Mirage. They've got the 5 AK-47s to try and take it over the line as well against a really scrappy buy. Hungary deciding not to invest all too much into this one. They just can't afford it. They can't justify it. They'll carry through 1 AK-47 on Aaron, and he's the main man to be watching here. Where is he taking that primary investment? I think towards the A bomb site, right? Yeah, right towards that ramp area. He'll see absolutely nothing in the early portions of this one. I don't even think he hears the footsteps from mid. So no real information. He'll prod towards the ramp regardless, and he'll spot no members of this Poland squad. SNK is actually watching behind. So this AK-47 will come into combat quickly.
Could be a head glitch angle that he's holding as well, so that could be a very difficult one for him to battle as well. He's actually creeping on forward here. I hear bullets. Seems like he's fired a few warning shots, and I think he realized that angle is way too hard to peek because literally a head glitch angle, so he'll back off into the A site, probably rotate back somewhere else, but there's connector presence over here. He's going to look towards this side to take the battle, but at the same time, Poland have retreated. They're not really showing too much face here. And off the back of that, they're actually going to rotate back possibly to the A side, seeing where that bomb is heading. But they're advancing upon all the positions here, upon all the extremities. A battle out here. Benito's able to get that first kill and 6x with another. So a trade all across the board here. With 35 seconds remaining, the bomb looks to be heading towards B.
And he's stolen away an AK-47. That's such a quick headshot. Benito, he's going to negotiate his way behind. And when is he going to reaggress? He has not been spotted here, trying to tap away at another one. Instead, they pull the plug. That bomb is going back to A. They do not want to challenge him right now. He's going towards the CT spawn as well, so might even find a gap. Coolio picks up another AK-47, and this angle is being watched. He is not long for this world. Benito, yes, he's been able to rotate his way over towards the A-bomb site, but cleaned up by Casey means Poland take another, and we're even all over again.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. It's just been trading these rounds in the second half. In the first half, it was like big chunks of rounds being traded, but now it's like every 1 or 2 rounds, it's just gonna be a tight scoreline. So with the way these rounds are going, though, I feel like Poland have had a decent foundation in a lot of them. But the rounds that they have lost, it feels like it was theirs to lose rather than Hungary winning the rounds.
We've not seen many A executes straight up like this on this second half, but MSN seems ready for it with the AWP. Quick shot, and Aaron wants to reaggress off the back of this. They've got no idea, and Trigger Discipline might actually be the wrong decision there. There was nobody there to punish, and instead he finds himself in the ramp, and as they reaggress, surely they're never going to check this. Instead, they flash it straight away. Aaron, that is so sad. SNX has somehow got himself inside of the jungle in the meantime, and Poland, with such a chaotic round here, also able to eliminate the AWP inside of the CT spawn. Coolio's got to be scratching his head right now. What the hell just happened?
I can't believe it. It was so hectic. We saw those battles in towards A site, and while we were all focused on that, we didn't even realize that SNX has just crept through the backlines as well. That was really weird. Aaron just pushing up forward as well. I didn't expect him to check that. I feel like it could have been a bait maneuver, moving back so that someone moved forward. They'd flash the angle on in, because it was so perfect, that flash, and Aaron just spraying through, giving away his position. No more bullets left in the chamber, and a peek on in, headshot there, and then they just got that quick plant there on the A site. Question is, does Coolio even save this M4A1S? He's hiding, but seems like SNX is good. And this round is so important here.
Thirteen to 12 here. This is such an important round. I can't really understate it. Aaron's presence actually went undetermined there, as Coolio's able to find another one on the boost. They now know that there's another player inside of the underpass. So as he maneuvers into the apartments, they've got to find it elsewhere. How have Poland players been able to get into such awkward positions in so many of these rounds? Another time where they're able to sneak onto the very back of the bomb site. Benito inside the apartments, he's been compromised. Now the pistols have to rotate in yet again, and they know where this last rifle is playing from. One versus 3. He's not got the HP to get this one done, and just being flashed to pieces as well. That's an easy round for Poland.
Easy enough one for them, just against the half bite. Nothing much more than that. Weapons back out here for Hungary. But I think you'd be inclined to agree here. If they lose this one out, you might as well say they've lost the entire map. They'll have barely any money going for them. They'll have that loss bonus. Don't know if it's max, though, considering that they've been trading rounds back and forth.
No, I can't imagine it is. There's just no way. Mid control once again, and Bedito, oh, how does he miss that shot? SNX is able to turn around at exactly the right time, but eats a nade for his troubles. Down to 21 points of health, and there's no way that can be noticed. There's 3 players already aggressing on short. Poland are going to send this charging all the way onto the B bomb site where Coolio cannot capitalize. MSN needs an absolute masterclass with the AWP as that bomb is being planted. How does he get out of this one? He's being burnt back as well. There's no way forward here through the flames. He needs to wait for these to dissipate, and SNX is finding yet another flank. That's got to be 5 rounds on this T side where he's got into such awkward positions, and this will be match point. I can confirm that in the best of 1. Poland hit 15 first.
I can't believe SNX just getting to those backlines, and then we're so surprised whenever we see it. It's so surprising as well. Observer just switches to him, and then we're like, how's he got in there? Well, Aaron, though, he's caught out just a little bit. He's able to get that kill right back as he refaces, but other than that, he's going to be saved this M4. He's going to be able to drop a teammate here, upgrade to the AK-47. That's going to be good here, but it doesn't matter. Poland are really set economically for a few more rounds, while Hungary, I'm really interested to see what they do with this. They have M4s in. Oh, they've been able to get a decent buy here, but the problem is they've cut corners so much here. They're gonna have no utility at all going into this.
Yeah, they're gonna have almost nothing, but that's how they've made the majority of their CT rounds work in this half. With scraps, they need 3 in a row to force overtime. Otherwise, this is going to be a 16th round, and well, that could actually be a possibility. 3 kills come, quick succession. It's MSN on mid, who's had much more impact than without the AWP. 1 minute 30 left to utilize, and this is a 2 versus 4.
Yes, fake smokes dropped in here to lure these players to stay back here towards the A bomb site. But Aaron has picked off the head of Casey, now in a 1-on-4. SNX, well, he's been fantastic so far out here for Poland, but I think this is too tall of a task. And, you know, knowing that all of these positions have been sort of explored, there's only one place that he could be, and that's that underpass position, probably being relayed right now by, I believe it's going to be Julio, but he doesn't actually peek it. He's like Aaron was more focused on that mid side at the same time, so SNX now grabbing that first. Gonna peek up that upper. Oh, that's a fantastic shot. We'll get up into the window now, and this 1-on-2 might just be doable here because both these players are on opposite bomb sites, and one of them's in the apartments, and he knows.
That Molotov is perfect. It's actually going to count him away, but SNX not patient enough to just hold the angle. He seems to have the information and wants to find another pick before going for this bomb plant, but nah, he's giving away the sound cues now. There's no way that Bedito's going to miss this one. They're going to call in for the rotation, and Bedito's able to get into the perfect position to just nail him away. 1 versus 4 denied, and it's Hungary. They're able to take 13, closing the gap to 2. They need to win these rounds consecutively if they're going to make it to overtime.
I'm just looking here. That was so costly for them. Some of these players didn't have the best of cash, but these 2 players stay alive, so they're able to carry over some of that into their teammates. But the buyback out here for Poland. Residual cash available on quite a few players here, so it shouldn't be a problem here going into round number 30 possibly. But SNX now entering here onto the A side, but the bomb is heading towards that catwalk side, jumping back down towards connector.
Well, that C4, it's actually going into the connector first, so if they can spot this one out, it will reveal the plans of the entire round here. Moonwalk, he's actually going to find the kill instead, just walking that C4 right into jungle. They know exactly what's going on now. SNX is going to take the site in the meantime, and as this bomb is planted, they find themselves in a near impossible 5 versus 3. 1 kill might chip back a little bit, but Zan, he's behind them again. How many times did this happen? All half long. They've had flanks, they've been everywhere, and the CTs have been totally outmaneuvered. 1 kill, but that bomb is planted all the way out in the open, and that smoke grenade is not going to block off their visual whatsoever. Moonwalk, he is burrowed into the jungle, and as this bomb is defused, he can leap and bound all the way out. He's going to find consecutive headshots as Poland take a scrappy map of Counter-Strike here on Mirage.
Yeah, that was well deserved out from them. They knew all those little bits and pieces of Mirage. You can see how SNX do the timing. He knows the map very well. And that's what makes a difference, of course, on a map like Mirage. Not, the very intricate stuff like that's in, their playbook, their strat book. It comes to stuff like that, being able to exploit them, getting behind the back lines, be able to get important kills like that, splitting the defense just like that. Well played out for Poland, considering that, I feel like Hungary were given a few chances there, including the rollback.
Yeah, they were given a ton of chances, right, on this CT side especially, to re-establish their economy on multiple occasions. You just said the rollback, but how many times did they just about survive with enough players to be able to go for a follow-up reinvestment and then take the round in a really scrappy fashion? That was such a close game. It almost felt inevitable that Poland were going to take it. They were basically knocking on death's door that entire second half. And as soon as it came to a close, Poland end up on top 16-13. Another really close map here in the WEC regionals. We'll be back though, same time, same place, right here tomorrow. Make sure you don't miss it.
One purpose. One dream. One rhythm. One step closer to glory. They say history remembers the winner. So who will be the ones writing the future? The halls of power call for their kings. The ones who won't back down. The ones who believed. The ones who knew that over 100 nations can't be wrong. Join the fight between August 24th and September 3rd as Yash becomes the world's esports capital.
In the heart of Yash, Romania, the world's top gamers have gathered for the ultimate showdown. IESF brings heart-stopping matches across a variety of gaming genres in an electrifying experience that celebrates the passion and dedication of esports athletes from around the globe. This is more than just a tournament. This is where champions are born, legends are made, and anything is possible. Get ready to witness the ultimate display of skill, strategy, and heart. The IESF World Esports Championship. It's about to take your breath away.
Do you think you've got what it takes? The challenge will be tougher than ever. In 2023, International Esports has a new home. Over 100 nations fighting for the championship in a celebration of everything that makes esports great. Who will rise up to the challenge? Who will be the world champion?